There's no way about it. They need to pass the bill already.
Well, sadly, I may agree with.
Okay, don't let me read. I'm the one reading the Daily Statesman. You stay in your corner. Find the next newspaper. That story is on page 4. NDC renews attacks on media. 2 newsmen assaulted. This is terrible. There's a story here of Emmanuel Saki, whose lips, he has busted lip, and he's from Top FM. We really need to end the attack on journalists. The information minister designate talked about this just last Saturday.
Yeah, it's a really sad picture.
Yeah.
It's a really sad picture. Enough is enough.
Yeah. Simons to set up in Ghana. It's coming from Akufo-Addo. He's chasing investment. So it says Akufo-Addo chases investment. And that story is on page 2 of the Daily Statesman.
Now let's take a look at the Chronicle. The Chronicle says here 6 KNUST students bonded for hosting opposite sex after 10 p.m.
Seriously, they are not kids.
They are not kids. Those
people
sort
do
of
study groups. Like people study at night.
Those sort of rules must be looked at again at the public halls. So if it's a private hall, you set your private rules. But the public halls, we need to look at those rules again. And I was telling you earlier yesterday that the Kwesi Nyantakyi University of Science and Technology Act seems to have given too much power to the council. And Parliament needs to look at those laws again.
Yeah.
Assembly pledges 254,000 Ghana cedis on refreshments and entertainment. MPP supporters want MCE probed. And finally, FIFA bans Kwesi Nyantakyi for life.
Say it again. They splurged 254,000
Ghana cedis on refreshments. Yes.
Wow.
Similar to the GMA incident, the Ghana Maritime Authority, or allegation as it stands right now. And we need an independent body, not the same board, to investigate this matter. Yeah,
now take a look at the Independent. Delta Force, Invisible Forces, Terrorist, not Vigilante Group. That's coming from Opare Ado, a.k.a. Pablo. His nickname is Pablo. He's talking about vigilantes and terrorism. Do you see the irony in that?
About Pablo Escobar. Anyway. But is that a Pablo for? I told you we did the LLB together.
I wonder where he got the Pablo from.
Pablo and I was my mate at Skimpa.
Is it inspired by Pablo Escobar?
No. He himself was an MC before. Yes, in the Ikwapim area.
Okay, that story is on page 2. And set back at Parliament House as campaign to get RTI bill passed almost thwarted. That story is on page 2 of The Independent.
Now let's take a look at The Finder. The Finder newspaper this morning is saying a fresh push for RTI bill. Police prevents media coalition from entering Parliament, and also Majority Leader promises November 15 to finish work on the bill. That's a strong promise.
Yeah.
We hope he's able to make the deadline here set. Now, FIFA bans Nyantakyi for life and imposes $500,000 fine. Well, it's actually 500,000 Swiss francs. Also, Tema residents live in fear over multiple robbery attacks. Page 2 has that story. And upgraded new Metro TV hits the road again.
Nice.
Siemens to establish presence in Ghana soon. Page 4 has that story. This morning, The Finder, grab a copy and read for more details.
Okay, now let's take a look at the Gold Street Business. Gold Street Business says here, mistakes of previous national airline won't be repeated. That's coming from the aviation minister. Stories on page 2. Glo escapes closure over 10 million Ghana cedis unpaid taxes.
Yeah.
It's crazy. GRA just closed down Surfline.
Yeah, they closed down Surfline. Glo apparently
10 million?
Yeah, so they made part payments. I think some 2 million Ghana cedis also, and then well, out of negotiations. I'm sure and I'm hoping that they'll pay the rest soon.
How do we allow businesses to
taxes
run in this country without paying their taxes?
I think.
Wow.
Well, some will say there's a new administration, there's a new sheriff in town, or there are new sheriffs in town. That's how you're seeing activity from the Bank of Ghana, from the
sheriff is in town,
SEC, the GRA.
It's a developing nation. We need it. Right? It's you don't want to go abroad and be begging for money if people owe you at home and they're operating and they're making money and they're not paying their taxes. So I think we should prioritize generating revenue internally and just chasing these businesses to pay your taxes. Okay, aviation sector attracts U.S. investor interest. That story is on page 13. World Bank's $35 million boost land digitization process. That story is on page 4. And finally, businesses worried over impending revocation of banking licenses. That story is on page 2. And this is a very nice thing that they're doing now.
Which one?
Go Street recognition. They are recognizing Akoko. Akoko. Is that Akoko? You know Akoko. Who sells foodstuff at the Kaneshi market. I'm passionate about my job because it makes me meet new people on a daily basis. I think it's amazing. There was a report done on the minds of taxi drivers, I think in the US a couple of years ago, and how, because they meet so many different people every day, it expands their worldview versus someone who goes to an office every day and they're stuck in their cubicle.
Same type of people.
Yeah, so like this woman who sells tomatoes, I have to buy tomatoes, you have to buy tomatoes, your doctor,
no,
everyone would engage her.
Okay.
What do we have online?
Let's go to citynewsroom.com. Citynewsroom.com says Kwanta SHS closed down after riots over mobile phone distraction. That's a really interesting story. You should, go online, citynewsroom.com, and read that particular one. Another one here says NPP members want MCE investigated for alleged corrupt acts.
That's good.
So a lot of people are holding their MCs accountable and calling for their resignations and investigations, amongst others. Now, Asante need to assess damage on KNUST campus today. Well, anyway, we have about a week to open the school according to the government. Yeah, according to the government. So let's wait and see how that turns out. And FIFA imposes 2.4 million fine on Nyantakyi after a live ban. And well, I think that will be our final story for today. By way of online stories, you want to introduce our guest? Okay. We have...
was that a rhetorical question?
Yes, actually it was. We are joined by Honorable Abdul Aziz Mohammed, is the Member of Parliament for Mion constituency. Good morning, welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Good morning.
It's good to have you here again.
I'm good. Hope you are good too.
Yes, by the grace of the Almighty God. Now we're also joined by Nana Fredua Ajimai Ufuyata. He is a member of the NPP communications team. Good morning, welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Thank you.
You have a different glasses on today. What happened to the other one?
Because during the introduction, I said he's wearing Daniel Kufado's glasses. He changed it immediately.
It's the only people who's wearing it. No, I got mine. I'll take it away.
But those are nice glasses. They have become quite fashionable.
Yeah.
So, Daniel Kufado.
Only the likes of Nana can be able to afford this special type of glasses. Power suits.
So I'll buy him one and then he'll pay for it.
Exactly. You get sure. Okay, let's start with the first story. FIFA imposes a 2.4 million Ghana cedi fine on Nyantakyi after live ban. I'm reading from City Newsroom. It says here, World Football Governing Body FIFA has imposed a 500,000 Swiss franc on former president of the Ghana of the Ghana Football Association, Kwesi Nyantakyi. Although several other football officials in the world have been banned for life and also fined, Mr. Nyantakyi's fine is quite hefty, at least much higher than what the former FIFA boss, Sepp Blatter, paid. So we are evaluating his crime now. He's been punished for it, but everyone is asking, is this a bit much? Considering what other people have been fined in the past.
Because Sepp Blatter, the whole former FIFA boss himself, was banned, according to a sportsperson, 80,000 Swiss francs. And
in just 6 years.
Yes, and Kwesi Nyantakyi has to pay 500,000 and a lifetime ban. Yeah. Okay, we'll start with you, Honourable Member of Parliament for Mion constituency.
Good morning to you and good morning to our viewers. It's a very embarrassing story, not just for Mr. Nyantakyi, but for us as a country. And I just hope that we don't record such similar instances again in the future, especially in respect of our football administration. But we need to comment on us, Armiao and us, not just for the undercover works that he does, but also taking the pain to buttress his claims and seek for redress and seek for justice, not just at the court, but also has taken it to FIFA, an international body in respect of football administration. He's doing a fantastic job for us as a country. I will need to commend him. Sometimes he virtually would put his life online to do some of these works, and we need to commend him. We all seem to have talked about corruption for a very long time, and little action is being taken. I remember somewhere in 2016, prior to the 2016 general elections, the run-up to the elections, the current president of the republic, President Akufo-Addo, then a candidate, had identified Ghana's way as one of the ways that he'd want to use to fight corruption. When that question was put to him, how he would deal with the issue of corruption, he identified the Ghana's way as a new approach to fighting corruption. What is worrying, if you recollect some of the heavy statements that Mr. Nyantakyi made, you chill. Apart from just compromising the Ghana Premier League, making it unattractive. Every young person in Ghana today is either talking about the English Premier League or the Spanish La Liga. That is worrying. I don't feel so comfortable about that. That we have virtually sold out everything of ours, including our soccer industry. It is bad. We should take every step that we would to be able to revive the local soccer industry. Some referees were also cited in that number 12 video.
No, a lot.
They have been punished. Some of them have been banned for life from engaging in refereeing. Some of them have been given some number of years for which they cannot engage in refereeing. What still remains to be handled or dealt with has to do with some of the remarks that Mr. Nyantakyi also made, not just in respect of football administration, but also about our national governance and finances. And I remember the President of the Republic had made a formal complaint to the CID Department of the Ghana Police in respect of some allegations that actually touch on the person of the President. I don't know what has become of those investigations.
Well, sadly, with that particular one, it was clear from the onset that Ghana does not have jurisdiction. If it was criminal in a way, or you can say that his actions do fall under, defrauding by false pretenses. That's very clear. So I felt maybe the president, being a lawyer, well, he made a report to the CID, but then to hope that something would come out of this from our local CID would be a bit of a stretch, because Section 56 of the Courts Act will let you know that it's jurisdictional. Indeed, if he was a public officer, then Ghana would have jurisdiction. But him not being a public officer, properly so-called under our laws, he cannot be held liable for an offense that was committed outside the country.
No, you see, that issue of Mr. Nyantakyi being a public servant or not is a raging debate. GFA have only sought to insulate themselves from the laws of our country. And FIFA will always support them. I have a problem with that because they are funded by the state. In fact, even donations that are made to GFA is not made to GFA as an institution on its own, but as an institution representing the state. And so when they take money from GNPC for sponsorship and they want to treat it as if it was some private funds, I have a problem with that.
Yes, but
GNPC or any other institution within our jurisdictions that would fund them. It's a state institution.
Yes. Honorable Aziz, the question is, if a public officer is one that is paid from the consolidated fund, he is not paid from the consolidated fund. So
in fact, it goes, a public servant goes beyond that.
Not a public servant, a public officer.
I agree with you, but that is a raging debate that we can take even beyond your studios. But what I'm also saying is, apart from all the allegations that he made, in respect of compromising our football industry, the sponsorship and using his microfinance as a conduit to pass the money through and charging some commission and trying to compromise some officials within the setup. He had also made very loud allegations against the president and his government officials. For instance, when he talked about family members of the president demanding 5% on every contract.
But that's just a private citizen making allegations. See, anyone can talk about
that's why I'm saying that I will still want to see what the police are doing about it, because it touches on the person and the integrity of the president. I don't think we should tolerate that as a country.
Okay.
That someone can go outside the country, make allegations about our president. I don't want to be passionate about it. We all have a duty not to protect the person of Mr. Akufo-Addo, but the presidency. That someone cannot just make an allegation even against the entire family of the president and making demand of 5%. We can't allow some of these issues to just slip unattended to.
Excellent.
I think that we have every duty as a country to make sure that, apart from what FIFA has done to him, the laws of this country must be applied. Mr. Nyantakyi, I cannot pronounce him guilty because I'm not close with that authority. But what we all saw in that documentary, where he was even seen taking some cash, you know, and making allusions to some $5 million to Mr. President. I mean, those are very heavy allegations that we must get into, establish the truth in that allegations, and see what and see what happens.
So let's go to Nana. Nana, we're discussing Kwesi Nyantakyi, of course, and the ban he's facing now from FIFA.
I thought you discussed the fact that today is October 31st. You don't understand? Tomorrow is when the telco people start charging us the 5% that you people approve of.
We'll discuss that one tomorrow.
We'll discuss that tomorrow, because it's
you're
tomorrow.
hoping for that one. Maybe we have brought you tomorrow
discuss
instead.
the fact that one of them owes us tax.
Yes, the irony, right?
Yeah.
That's what I was telling you guys. You should be focused on that. 5% is not money we should pay.
But isn't that imposed by the government, though?
No, it isn't.
Really?
How is it imposed?
They're saying it's part of the taxes that...
Just fund levy, NHIS, they're just offloading it to the consumer.
Why are they doing that?
Okay, let's get back to Nyantakyi.
Exactly.
We'll talk about that tomorrow.
Why don't they want to contribute to our education and our health? Yet they want to chop our
They
money.
do that through CSR. They do that through CSR.
I think Nana has his own agenda.
It's a serious big agenda.
Let's discuss Nyantakyi.
The people are cheating us and we think it's all right. I don't understand that.
But Nana, that is not the issue for discussion. But the issue has to do with the restructuring of VAT,
so that we benefit, so that people get health money, so that we get education money.
That is something. Company
it is law. What's the force about it? If you can't do, you leave the country. They've come and chopped our money, you Ghanaians think that it's all right. That's why they keep cheating you.
No, but it's a private company. You can't control them.
I agree with you.
They should contribute to education and health. And you don't think they should?
You don't blame the Chamber of Telecoms.
How easy it is for you
blame
to
the
say.
Minister of Finance who had to recalibrate the VAT structure.
Because we need money to take care of those children.
We're not going to do this
now
right
they
now.
come to you for fees. They don't come to you for fees anymore. Do you remember that?
Honorable Aziz, please. We're not discussing telcos today.
Like I was saying, the topic on the table is such a problem. The topic. I'm so bothered that we don't think we should protest. For me, first of all, I think that the gentleman who holds the desk, you had him here. Tahiru did an extraordinary job of breaking down the facts. And for me, it was a total eye-opener. I hope journalists learn to be like him. He's good. He's really, I told solid. He broke the thing down. It breaks down your appreciation and understanding of the issue. And leads me to my normal philosophy of when a dog is down, you don't kick it. It's unfortunate that Mr. Nyantakyi has gone through what he's gone through. I'm not about to pass judgment on him, even if I had the authority to, in terms of a discussion of this nature. The laws have worked. The prayer, which is what you raised, the prayer is that he's not being treated like an African. In other words, they're not whipping him with what are those chains, those whips that have thorns on them, as opposed to what they did to other people. That he's not being treated extraordinary, extra whatever. because that would be sad. And then it would be interesting to know what they fine for. When they fine, what is it for? Because there was the question about what if he doesn't pay? What do they fine for? If you've banned him, what are you taking his money for? What is it for? To make up for what? And who does the money go to? To do what? It would be very interesting to understand all of that. I think that there's a general lesson that we must all learn. And I like what the Honorable did about commending Anas. When it happened, all kinds of things came out of it. People had all kinds of angles to it. Ridiculous angles sometimes, trying to find ways, and people try and say they're not trying to be partisan and all that. Don't you know that?
People even said the firing of the CEOs was supposed to be a distraction.
All kinds of,
because that happened the same day. You know the CEOs, the letter that some CEOs had been discussed.
All kinds of stuff.
Came out the same day.
The reality is this. Commendations go to Anas for his work. We need a lot of that. We need to stem this canker that's killing us. Every day somebody wants to extort something from somebody. And it's not politicians alone. That's one of the things this brings out for us. So the focus shouldn't be on only politicians. It should be on everybody. And then there's the matter of us appreciating that it is important that we let our laws work. Calling for people's blood and their life and all that is so easy to do. But then you need to go through processes so that it is established that it is law that's functioning and not the whim of somebody. It's crucial. That cuts out a lot of the vindictivism that affects us a lot. Half the time when we're trying to battle corruption, people think it's because it's you versus me, as opposed to you versus the law or me versus the law. So all of this, I think, build up to lessons that I think we've generated. I hope that we'll stick to that and keep that in mind and keep reminding ourselves that this could happen to you if you are involved in stuff like that. You never know. And when it comes, you better be prepared to deal with it. I wish Mr. Nyantakyi well. I pray that he and his family stay strong. This is not an easy time. I don't wish this on my worst enemy, and he's nowhere near being an enemy to me. And so we'll see how the world works out on that.
Fantastic. Now, I think we should use, since he is insisting he might not be here tomorrow, so on the 5%, you definitely want to touch on that before we go.
I have a problem. I have a problem. I have a problem.
But really briefly, so Honorable Member can also have a quick response.
The reason I have a problem with it is a primary context within which this is being raised. The principle is that we need to finance our education and our health for every Ghanaian. In fact, in this context, every Ghanaian includes anybody who lives in Ghana. You don't have to be Ghanaian. So there's a basic fund that we're supposed to support, and so this levy. In the previous system, when deductions were made, it affected those things, and that is not the intention. The intention is to collect money so it can fund these things for Ghanaians. So the government says, let's restructure it so that we have this clearly. Why are the telcos not interested in helping fund this thing? Now, my problem with the telcos, you know, when I was not in Ghana when they came in, and then I came into Ghana in '92. When I make a call to you, they charge me and they charge you for receiving the call. When they make their money, they were taking it in droves. Let an economist or a statistician or whoever do an analysis of the kind of forex they were taking out of this country and its effect on our money. Why are we pretending as if, and then
they made
those days
and profits within your laws.
And those days, they got away with murder. There weren't enough laws to take care of them, so they got away with murder. And they didn't finance and sponsor things like they're doing these days. So for some 10, 15 years, we did not benefit from their so-called corporate social responsibility on the levels that, if you ask me, we should have. So what does it take to all these profits that you make to pay 2.5% towards our education? What does it take? Why do you have to pass it on? The people you're passing it on to, they already pay anyway. And these small people across the country who use your money, and every day they make millions of dollars every day. Look at the mobile. They are the biggest banks, the telcos. They are bigger banks than our banks. And yet we Ghanaians think it's all right. That's for me. I wish we would protest.
Okay.
They should pay. That 5% won't kill them. They don't even pay their workers. If I check if their workers are paid the standards that they should be paid for, the kind of money they make for them. Come on, Ghanaians. That's for me. I think it's a problem.
Okay. So Nana is calling for a protest. Honorable, when we come back, we'll take your response. But I'm sure you will join him. I will join forces with him.
I'll disagree with him.
This is Breakfast Daily, guys. Let us hear your thoughts with the hashtag Breakfast Daily and the what's applying.
05505858832.
We'll be right back.
City TV is live. City TV is a free-to-air digital channel. On a digital TV, please press menu on your remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access City TV on your television. City TV can be accessed on a multi-TV digibox. Tune into City TV and experience your world. City TV, it's your world.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, it's still Breakfast Daily, the news review segment. We're still joined by Nana Fredo Agyemang-Ofori-Atta. He is a member of the MPP communications team, and he is saying that, you know what, this 5% the telco should have been able to pay, or they should pay
towards our
education and our health. Yeah. And of course, there are dissenting opinions, so it appears there are dissenting. There's a dissenting position from Honorable Abdulaziz Mohammed, the Honorable Member of Parliament for Neil.
But before that, let's read some messages because we have received a lot of messages. So Jagos from Nsawam says, bravo to FIFA for giving the Mugabe of Ghana football a life and an everlasting ban that will let him abstain from ever watching football on television. I don't know if that's part of the ban. I'm happy, Pam, because this man really damaged the image of GFA, and all credit goes to Anas. Anas. Good morning, Jifa and Ike. I know you can advocate for us on this. Can you please ask GES when they are going to post the teachers for the gold track? We understand the students will be on November 8th, so please ask, since I understand the new teachers are the ones going to tutor for the second track after writing the aptitude test about a month ago. We haven't heard anything. That's an interesting perspective. Yeah. I didn't even think of the teachers. Another person here, Farouk from Tamale, says, FIFA's decision to ban Nyantakyi after months of rigorous investigations raises serious questions about the involvement of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo in the bribery scandal, and also brings to force once again the need for Criminal Investigation Department CID to inform Ghanaians about the status of their investigations into the scandal, which has tarnished the image of Ghanaians and Ghana. I urge the President to open himself up for transparent and credible investigations by an independent body to clear his name in the said matter. I think we'll continue with the comments, but Honorable, brief response.
I would disagree with Nana on the issue of the telecos passing the tax burden to the consumer. I'm not sure if Nana understands clearly what is happening here.
I'm sure he does.
They are not asking the telecos to pay some new 5% as tax. What government has done is to recalibrate the tax, if you like, the VAT that companies pay. Hitherto what they did, VAT was 17.5% on value addition. So, for instance, if
VAT was never 17.5%.
VAT was 12.5. Get fund was 2.5. National health insurance levy was 2.5, making it 17.5. So that is it. all these 17.5 was calculated on value addition. And so, for instance, if you were engaged in trading and your cost of stock was, for instance, 10 Ghana cedis, and you were to sell that same stock at 15 Ghana cedis, the 17.5 would have been calculated on the 5 cedis. That's the value addition. What government has done in the recalibration is to say that we are making health insurance levy and a get fund levy a straight tax. What it means is that you now calculate 2.5 of each, not on 5 cedis, but on 15 cedis. What that will mean is that they will pay more. These are people in business. All that they have done is to transfer that burden onto the Ghanaian public. In fact, they pay their taxes as required of them. They pay. Oh, it is one thing being in default. It's one thing being in default, and another thing not paying the appropriate taxes. They pay. I mean, just allow me to make my point.
To defend them against the Ghanaian.
No,
You see,
I don't think
it's
that's
not
a fair
against the
position.
Ghanaian.
It's a very fair comment.
And so
It's not a fair
The fact that you support him doesn't mean it's not
what
fair.
they have done is to pass the burden onto the consumer. And so, if we want someone to blame,
A burden imposed on them by government.
By government, we should not be blaming the telecos, but we should be blaming government that says that it wants to raise more revenue,
So that they can support health and education.
It has recalibrated the tax structure in order to get more money. That more money, the telcos say they cannot absorb, and so they want to push it onto the consumer.
Okay,
so it's very easy.
That's a great point.
If there's anyone to blame, that should be the Minister for Finance.
Awesome. So the next topic is, of course,
what you would say.
I'm reading from citynewsroom.com. 10,000 Ghana cedis for 17, not 8 people. That's coming from the Maritime Authority boss. We saw some report on social media that 8 people
about
spent
10,000 cedis on dinner.
Yes, so it says here the Director General of the Ghana Maritime Authority, Kwame Owusu, has rejected claims that the authority blew an amount of 10,000 Ghana cedis on lunch. He says the amount was actually for 17 members of the management team, not 8 people. We were about 17 people. Even 8 people will not form a quorum for us to go ahead for a meeting. He also touched on the reports that they spent some 130,000 cedis on some luxury suits. He said, he confirmed it. He said, we would like also to respond to the issue of the authority having spent 150,000 Ghana cedis at the end of the year party. It is true that there was 115,000 of the cost on food, but it was for 500 people, not the amount of people initially assumed. And he said we had met and estimated that there would be at least a partner and a wife, a child, a girlfriend that will push the number to about 400. We also took into consideration the invitation of various stakeholders, including ministers, MPs, and the likes, and that's how come the amount pushed to where 135,000 cities for 500 people. Yeah. And of course, we know that the transport minister has ordered a probe into all of this.
And the probe is, yes, I have an issue also with that. Yesterday, I was listening to the Ghana, even the Ghana, I mentioned it yesterday, and later on in the evening, Ghana Integrity Initiative also spoke about the fact that you setting up the board that you have set up, or that hasn't been set up, the board already in place, that you've asked to investigate this issue and come out with a report. That same board, according to the Director General of the Ghana Maritime Authority, is saying that it is the board that selected that particular hotel. It wasn't me as a Director General, it's the board. Then the Transport Minister decides to let the same board investigate the matter.
Yeah. So even if there were 500 people, that's about over 200, almost 275 cedis per person on this lavish dinner. That's still a lot of money.
That in itself is problematic, that the board would be engaged in selecting a hotel or a venue for an end-of-year party. A board is not supposed to engage in the day-to-day administration of an entity to the extent of even identifying a location or a venue for end-of-year party. That's not the function of a board. You are supposed to give strategic advice and direction to the entity, and it's very, 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 very common these days where board members have virtually become CEOs and virtually managing the entities.
With that particular issue, I think it will depend on the law creating the board, what the law creating the board says.
No.
Because
Boards,
for instance,
boards everywhere.
It can't be everywhere. because even the audit, I'm using the audit service as an example. The audit service board have been given administrative functions even in the constitution. So when it comes to administration, sometimes it could be the board.
Well, I don't want to engage you on that matter, but what I do know for sure is that boards are supposed to give a strategic direction to an entity and not to engage in the day-to-day administration. Well, that's why we have CEOs. If they were to give administrative functions, what would be the function of the CEO and management? But beyond that, the CEO of Ghana Maritime Authority should not have spoken yesterday.
Why?
He should not have spoken yesterday.
We needed to hear from him. I mean,
because he has made matters worse for himself and the institute. For you to claim and justify the spending an amount of over 10,000 Ghana cedis, almost 11,000 Ghana cedis, 10,600 plus, on lunch for 17 people. Granted, what he's saying is true. 17 people. That gives you, on the average, an amount of 600 plus for lunch. Is that the case in this country?
And that's almost what NAPCO students are making a month. Well, NAPCO employees are making a month. A bit.
These are the issues that 700 Ghana cedis, and you just get into a room to have lunch, and you spend this amount of money. Now, issues of conflict of interest have come up. Who owns the hotel and who is behind the hotel? And he has virtually admitted owning that hotel. It is so serious.
Even the boldness with which he said it. About the hotel issue, he says he's not just a major shareholder; he belongs to the family, so he's 100% shareholder.
I don't think he should have been at post as at this morning. Trust me. I don't think so. That he would make this admission. It's a sackable offense to justify the spending of almost 11,000 Ghana cedis on lunch for what he says 17 people. Media reports indicate there were 8, justifying an expenditure of 135,000 Ghana cedis on end of year get together.
Because people bring their wives and girlfriends.
I mean, our country has well, for want of a better word, it's been reduced to a banana republic. We should
and his justification actually is that he is making more revenue for the authority. So to make more revenue, you have to spend more. So that's his justification. Do you even find it justifiable?
Even if you were spending more to compensate the staff more, to motivate them to work, that may be justifiable. But to spend as much as 135,000 on end of year party, 10,000 to 11,000 Ghana cedis on lunch for some 8 people, and you want to justify that, now you're admitting that that hotel belongs to you and your family. And you see, we must begin to run government institutions as if they were ours. There's no government anywhere. Government simply refers to myself and you. Yeah. If you think that government refers to President Akufo-Addo and the millions of Ghanaians, you are making a very big mistake. It is the taxpayers' money. You can't throw away the taxpayers' money this way, and you still have the guts to engage us through the media, and you are still at post, and no one sees wrong with it. And when you complain about some of these things, you are seen as engaging in politicking. That cannot be. That cannot be. Okay. In fact, a borehole, a borehole for a whole community would cost you less than 10,000 Ghana cedis. Wow. So for you to go and do an end-of-year party and spend over 135,000 Ghana cedis, that could have constructed about 15 boreholes for communities, deprived communities, and you want to justify it? Well, or even toiletries for free SHS students. It is serious. We can't be wasting our public resources this way, and would want to claim we are protecting public. Let's hear from you, Nana.
There are about 2 or 3 angles to this.
Okay. Choose one.
There's the one where we're all making these funny sweeping statements about the quantum of money and how it can affect borehole production and all that. Then there's the matter of the responsibility of the institutions, the Transport Ministry, the board, and the authority, management of the authority. Then there's the issue of how this whole thing has happened. I don't know what to call it yet because they're going to investigate it. Let's deal with that one first. I think that at least it's good that the information is out there, so that whatever has to happen must happen. There's a cleansing process that is going on. People have confidence to expose things now. And so when people are working, they must be very careful. This particular matter is not a political thing as far as I'm concerned. If something is right, it should be affirmed. If it is wrong, it should be affirmed. Everything has to be dealt with.
Fantastic.
I'd have advised him not to speak. There's no need to rush. There's going to be an investigation. Which leads me into the next point. The board is entitled to investigate this. It might have approved the process for holding the events, assuming that the procurement office had gone through its steps. So if it came to the board and it says, here's the document, and it says, okay, it's a good idea. Why? Staff need to be motivated. Then please, when staff has worked all year round, and in this case, the argument from the maritime boss is that for years, the staff have never been recognized in this fashion. And if you like, do a survey of any entity and ask the staff in that entity whether they don't like to be seen, to be respected and appreciated with events like that. So, and when they come and they bring their wives or husbands and girlfriends or boyfriends or children, we're saying that their family don't deserve to enjoy a little bit when they see their family go to work and come late and things. It matters. So motivation should not be downplayed.
Everybody in Ghana needs to be motivated.
Very good.
So if we decide to motivate a few people from the consolidated, these are not private money. These are monies belonging to the country.
So if you were paying attention to my argument, the first issue is let's not get caught up in trying to belittle the fact that it is important to take care of staff. And when they bring their family, there's a problem. Because we say it, and they bring their girlfriends as if it's some... No, it's important. So that's not...
I think the argument is with the quantum.
So let's stick to that instead of raising those issues.
Okay, let's stick to the amount of money they spend in a country where just a couple of weeks ago the president actually admitted.
So let me emphasize the point that we should stop downplaying people being appreciated in this country. Yes. So you see now that I've shot your thing down, you are itching to talk about the money. Who's not interested?
His issue was always about the money.
Now it's my issue. Why? Now it's my issue. I'm saying that
you are raising your own issues. Everyone is speaking about the quantity.
17 people.
Let everyone do that. And yet in the process you are downplaying workers when they work.
Okay, then let
me finish. Yes.
Protect the public purse.
No. I'm justifying holding events for staff. They deserve it.
We spent 10,000 Ghana cedis for 17 people.
I won't go at your pace. So you raise the issue. Let me talk about it. So that is clear. Now, on the specific matter of the money. Why? We need to hear the details when the investigation is over. Let's stop jumping to conclusions. Let's stop rushing. We love to kill people too early. We're always calling for people's blood, and we can't deal with the aftermath of it. I don't think that this situation is something to cover up. I'm eager for these things to be exposed when they come up. If there's something wrong. So let's wait patiently for that investigation. On the top of it, when I heard portions of the gentleman's presentation, he argues that the money includes other things. So if you calculate the 135,000 or so per head per the 500 people, it comes to about 270 cedis per head. That comes off as expensive. But if he's now breaking it down, that there are other costs that came up to the 135, we need to hear all of that.
Such as
the venue, the music, whatever.
The DJ.
He said all of that. So I'm saying, why? It's money. So the issue is that let's get those details. And then when we're clear about it, then we can sentence the person if he deserves to be sentenced.
So you are fully comfortable with the board being the investigative body, a board that has been named in this?
Because the board will now go back and check that what we ratified, what did you do? Because we assumed, based on your presentation, that this and that and the other had been taken care of. So they'll ask questions. If those questions were not asked when they ratified, they are fit to ask. It's good for them to assume that the procurement office approved it. It's fit for them to assume that. But if now it has come out that it didn't, the board can go back and say, why didn't you do that? Why did you present us with quote-unquote false information?
But Nana, I think the worry we all have is we're in a country where a couple of months ago, youth in afforestation were complaining they've not been paid, right? People are constantly complaining the cost of living is high. Our president told us that we're in hardship, but hold on, things will be better. And then you hear an authority spending 10,000 cedis on 17 people. I don't think you can justify that in any way. Like, it's one thing to want to motivate your staff, and another thing to abuse
I'm wondering
public
who has
persons.
justified it on this.
That's what you are doing, indirectly.
If my analysis leads
please.
you to that, then I'll leave you to your literate understanding of my presentation.
So allow him to respond, because I think we are not doing justice to the matter. No, okay, so let me take that back. You didn't justify
it. You have literally understood me, that's fine.
No.
But the issue is...
Yes, what do you make of spending that amount of money in a developing
let's wait for the
country?
details to pass that judgment. Let's wait for the details before we pass that judgment.
But he gave us the detail, didn't he?
He did, but he didn't give us details enough.
Okay, so the one you have of him clarifying at least the number of people.
For example, you see, I want you. Let me repeat it if you didn't hear it. I'm eager that these types of things come out because they'll help us cut out that type of stuff. So let it come out, but let us stop rushing to call for people's blood. We have done it in the past in this country, and it hasn't served us because it's been vindictive. And that's not the way to go. So let the details come. When, for example, the details come, and you spend, the calculation says, like the Honorable calculated, and I did the same, it's about the same calculation. You're spending 588, almost 600 cedis. On a person in
I didn't say 500. That's
you said 600.
So it was your figure. You said almost 600.
600 plus. And then I said let's move on.
But you see, I actually did the calculation and it came to 580. That's why I said to like he said.
Okay, Nana,
maybe don't stop embarrassing your math teacher.
Really, Nana?
Your math challenge. Now your math challenge.
Nana, let's move on, please. Thank you. We have to move on.
Finish. No, I'm saying so. The 588. There are places in this country where you can buy fufu, a plate of fufu for over 100 cedis.
But not a public service official. Not
very good. Very good. So now we start asking that question.
Yeah. I think that's the question we're asking.
That is the question.
It is when he gives us the details that we get to that point.
The people who claim to protect the public purse now say that they can buy fufu at 100 Ghana cedis.
I never said that. I never said that.
But it's back to the issue.
Why didn't you understand the English as well?
I never said that.
We
need to wait for money.
You sat here, what he said, you didn't stop him from saying.
You are a lawyer.
You enjoy that, don't you? When he contours, I didn't sit here to say that the public people go and spend that money. I said there are places in this country where they buy fufu and you change it. Yeah.
Thank you. Honorable, he didn't say that.
You are a lawyer.
People enjoy that.
When you accuse someone of murder and the person agrees to the murder charge, perhaps the only thing you would want to do to challenge his admission would be to find out if he's mentally sound, because the person has admitted. The man himself has spoken.
But you still need evidence.
The man himself.
You still need evidence.
The man himself has spoken that it was 17 people and not 8. And we are saying that granted his number is even correct. That gives you over 600 Ghana cedis. We are talking of a country where the president himself has admitted that we're in challenges, we're in crisis.
We spend
almost 1,000 cedis on lunch for people. You are spending 135,000 Ghana cedis on end of year. You've also admitted that that company belongs to you and your family. It doesn't raise issues of conflict of interest. And you're justifying it.
I'm
speaking to the issue.
He didn't justify.
No, the man didn't justify.
He gave his answer.
Okay. Thank you. Now, there's an interesting story here relating to the right to information bill. You're a member of parliament.
Yes,
what's going on with the right to information bill? It appears it's taking quite a long time.
Yeah, it has. It is before parliament, and the indication, I was in parliament yesterday, the indication I got from the news item attributed to the majority leader is that that bill would be passed before the end of the year. Let's see what happens. It's been on the drawing board for a very long time. First introduced in parliament somewhere I think in 2002, almost 16 years. Both the NDC and the NPP have not fared well in respect of that CI bill. It only seeks to give meaning to some aspects of our constitution that guarantee some freedom of access to information. It's not just for the media. Even the ordinary Ghanaian who want to seek for information would need some backing of the law.
Why has it taken so long to just pass the bill?
Well, every parliament is unique. I wasn't part of any of those.
So for your one, because the majority leader promised that by November 15th they will finish working on it. It would be passed. Even when they brought the bill to parliament, it was not gazetted as required by law. But we had to just, pretend as if nothing happened and allowed it to go, because sometimes the process will allow you that when they come under the certificate of emergency. In this case, it never came under the certificate of emergency, and yet it was not gazetted. Let's see what happens before the close of the year. I understand the pressure we are getting from the.
So if what I'm getting from you is right, it means even the procedure as it stands right now is wrong.
Oh, when a bill comes to Parliament under the certificate of emergency, that portion of it being gazetted is waived. But I'm saying that this bill did not come to Parliament.
Neither was it gazetted.
Exactly. And so, but Parliament is a master of its own rules. And so we would work to pass that bill. I don't think that. Remember, in the last days of President Mahama, we did everything humanly possible to get it passed. But for some partisanship that would normally characterize our national discourse, it was thwarted. But let's see.
I want you to tie this in.
The media coalition came to Parliament yesterday, and they weren't allowed in. Why was that?
Perhaps, like I said, I wasn't
just because they were wearing their shirts.
I have told you I wasn't in Parliament, but it will also require that when you want to engage in some demonstration of a sort, holding placards.
They weren't holding placards, they just had on a t-shirt.
That's what I heard with your news item. They needed to engage the parliamentary service, they needed to engage with the security. I mean, we should also accord that respect to Parliament. That you just don't get up with your placards and
they didn't
start
have
working.
Placards.
Well, that's the news item. I have told you, I have admitted I was in the Parliament.
Okay.
We just don't want to work to Parliament in that manner without any arrangements.
With your t-shirt.
We don't expect anyone to come there naked.
Still in relation to journalists, really briefly.
He didn't have on placards. You're not answering my question. But it's okay, let's move on.
Still in relation to journalists, really briefly, brutality of journalists still going on. The Daily Statesman reports NDC renews attack on the media. 2 newsmen assaulted. We can see Emmanuel Saki of Top FM, and of course another journalist of multimedia was also, he has his eyes. There's a picture here. Kwesi Wilson of Joy FM. His eyes almost
swollen.
Yeah, it's very swollen actually. What's going on?
Renewed. That is the slant here. But we all condemn attacks on the media. We have every duty.
Beyond the lip service, what's going on?
Well, we can only ask the security agencies to act and act swiftly.
Fantastic.
When some of these things happen, the National Media Commission, the GJA, must put pressure to bear on the security agencies to work.
Okay.
But this is not the first time that we are recording some of these issues.
I think we let's hear from
I don't know. Let me condemn the action of those.
Okay.
People.
We've heard a lot of the condemned. Nana,
but
really brief. No, this is your
this
time.
Is my
Thank
party,
you very much.
I'm condemning it. Ajay Fati has still not been condemned.
She has been fined, and she was condemned by John Boydo. Nana, really brief.
John Boydo.
Yes.
And that is why they never get things sorted out, because they keep doing this. This is a serious matter. People get hurt, and you are caught up in referring to Ajay Fati. How embarrassing.
Banana, we were discussing 10,000 cities, and you said motivating employees, which we all agreed was necessary, but not at the expense of the public purse. But let's continue.
What's the relation?
Let's continue.
Nana, let's focus on this particular.
I'm trying to find the logic in what she just said.
Nana,
what's the point?
Nana, we are running out of time.
You can connect stories.
Nana, please,
you can connect stories.
Nana, we have to wrap up. We have to wrap up. Yes, I don't want to go on this relation. So wrap up on this.
Nana, please wrap up.
No,
Nana, we are sorry.
So go on.
Please continue.
On this specific matter, this right to information bill is such a crucial instrument for all of us. It's going to help a lot with killing things. It's like this discussion we just had on the money spent.
The money spent.
When you have a right to information bill, things will not be shut out from the public as easily as it is being shut out now. We'll get the details faster. People won't just say what they like. So we need that. It's going to help us kill corruption or tone it down heavily when it comes through. So it's important. I've been a supporter of it from when it started.
Why has it taken so long to just pass?
Politics. And which brings me to a key thing that we must all ask for now. The Article 21(1)(f) says all persons shall have the right to information subject to such qualifications and laws as are necessary in a democratic society. I have a strong feeling that it is that portion that has caused every political error to be slow on it. So what people should be interested in is making sure that whatever is going on is not being tweaked against the public's interest. Because we must know things. This one, in very general terms, has to do with things like security. It isn't everything that we must know about security movements and all that. But people will try and twist it to cover this type of $10,000 CD thing and all that. And so we have to be careful.
Thank you.
So that's where our interest should be.
Thank you very much.
The majority leader has told us that December. Let us make sure that they make December the date.
Thank you. Okay, well, thank you very much, Nana Fredua Ajima Oforiata is a member of the NPP Communications team, and of course, the Honorable Member of Parliament for Myeong constituency, Honorable Abdulaziz Mohammed.
Good morning to the people of Myeong if they are watching. No. Speak your language.
Guys, that's
right.
We'll be right back, guys.
In the eyes of the beholder, and at Second Image, getting that beauty is our priority, with services for facials for spots and wrinkles, body treatment for body shaping and slimming, hairstyling for bridal dressing, body massage, manicure and pedicure, artificial nail extensions, guarantees you that perfect body and skin. Second Image also offers training for students in hairdressing, beauty therapy and fashion, and design up to HND level. Our course duration ranges from 2 to 6 weeks for short courses or up to 2 years. Second Image also runs a special foundation program for JHS leavers in hair and beauty therapy, dressmaking and electronics. Contact us now on 0243-331-999 or 0302-221-376. Or you can locate Second Image next to Adabraka Police Station, Kwame Nkrumah Avenue, or visit us at secondimagechina.com. Admissions run throughout the year. Second Image gives you a new image. Second Image. Be empowered to succeed.
Good evening, this is The Point of View. We're live on City TV.
Tune in to The Point of View, Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 p.m. as Bernard Avlet takes the news further. He will bring the right guests, ask them the relevant questions, and get you the real insights you need on the big stories for the day.
We need taxes to run the economy. How do you do it sensibly and have the least pernicious effect in terms of cascading through the economy? And I think that is the thinking that is required. It's not a denial that we need taxes, and I think that is the difference in the two administrations.
The Point of View with Bernard Avlet, Monday and Wednesday nights, only on City TV. City TV is live. City TV is a free-to-air digital channel. On a digital TV, please press menu on your remote control and run a news search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access City TV on your television. City TV can be accessed on a multi-TV digibox. Tune into City TV and experience your world. City TV, it's your world.
Your body they make her they freeze. Oh my God, my baby peace. Oh my God, your body they make her they freeze. Oh my God, yeah. Hey, tasty, tasty. Everything now your body tasty. Yeah, tasty, tasty. Everything now your body tasty. Everything tantalizing. Everything butter. Everything tantalizing. Everything butter. Listen, when we kiss and when we hug, oh my God, I'm in love. No long thing, no long thing. Give me that thing, girl. Your body like a I go mash it up. Hot, you burn me up. Girl, you know be cocky, but cock it up. Come on, why nothing for me, my baby, please. Oh my God. Your body they make her they freeze. Oh my God, yeah, my baby peace. Oh my God, your body they make her they freeze. Oh my God, hey, baby go Charlie. Tasty, tasty, yeah. Everything now your body tasty, yeah. Sick, tasty, yeah. Everything now your body tasty. Everything tantalizing. Everything butter. Everything tantalizing. Everything butter. Listen, baby, I go see for you. Jam Kilimanjaro for you. Drink the ocean for you. Baby, I like how you package attackers in the front and a big backer. Come down road with a donut. Bad man, no, they don't want butter. Butter, everything sweet, ducko. Painting it all. Butter, oh bad with bummer. Butter, everything sweet, ducko. Painting it all. Butter, oh bad with bummer. Tasty. Everything now your body tasty. Yeah, tasty. Everything now your body tasty. Everything tantalizing. Everything butter. Everything tantalizing. Everything butter. Everything tantalizing. Everything butter. Everything tantalizing. Everything butter.
I know about that photo, saying Tim Titia who I go talk to, yeah. This is Kwesi Nyantakyi and you're watching Breakfast Daily, ground up to the top, boy. Yeah.
I know do them anything, yeah. She was saying, yeah, then if you wish me fire and go to hell. What's up, it's your Rockstar Kwame Eugene. Keep watching City TV Breakfast Daily. Don't go anywhere. Rockstar. Yeah.
Good morning, Ghana. Good morning, world. You're in tune to the Breakfast Daily on City TV. Stoneboy says so. Keep it locked. Don't log off. Beep.
Another amazing performance by an artist that I cannot wait to hear more about. Wilberforce will be talking to him later on the show. But now we're going to talk about urology and the state of urologists in the country. I think around August 2005, a road accident killed about half of the urologists we had in this country. There are about 6 or 7 of them. And we've been blessed with a few, but that space is still not developed across the country. I've been told that we had our very first female urologist in the country this year, and I'm so honored to be joined by a woman who is studying in that space. She's doing her PhD, and I want to learn a lot about her and why she even chose this field in the first place. I've been joined by Miss Maria Manson, who is studying, she's doing her PhD in urology at the University of West England and University of Bristol. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
It's such an honor. I think you're probably the first urologist in the making.
It's so funny. I've been hearing that a lot since I've been here, and I was actually thinking that there would probably be a lot of female interested in urology, but I've heard something completely different. So I'm very pleased to be here and to know that this is something that we actually need in this country.
And then I'm honored that you joined us today.
Thank you.
What exactly is urology?
Urology is basically everything that has to do with the kidney, the ureter, the urethra, the bladder. So when it comes to fluid homeostasis, when it comes to filtering and even clearance of drug, the kidney plays a huge part of it. So basically the kidney has these proteins in them called aquaporins. That's what I've been looking into. And these aquaporins are so crucial when it comes to fluid homeostasis, so they basically aid in high blood pressure control. So it's just quite funny that we've recently, about 10 years ago, found these proteins in the bladder as well.
Wow.
And initially, the bladder was considered to be a storage organ. So it's just sat there with no function. However, the fact that these proteins are there, to us as researchers and scientists, suggests that the bladder could actually contribute to modifying the final urine composition, which basically means that maybe, possibly, and this is me being scientific and just